and you work your way in. So I've had kids write about the school they go to as being part of the community. I've had kids write about the sports teams that they're part of. I've had kids write about their parents. I've had kids write about a sibling. I've had kids write about their religion. They are writing anything that you believe has helped shape you and mold you into the person that you are today is essay number 1. But do you think they could get 1 million essays about something, about somebody's band or somebody's family? It's only through the specific examples that each and every one of you give, that I know you have, that will actually make this essay come alive for them. Number 2, I call it the inside out essay. Tell us about a personal quality, a talent, accomplishment, contribution, or experience that is important to you. What about this quality or accomplishment makes you proud, and how does it relate to the person that you are? Again, what about this quality or accomplishment makes you proud, and how does it relate to the person who you are? They want you to provide, again, an ending. Who here has looked at the Common Application or another university? It's application. Do you see how these 2 essays, one of these 2 essays, can become your essay for the other? So right now you need to think that if I spend time on the UC essays, I will take the essay that I like the best of my 2 UC essays, and it will become my Common Application long essay. Does that make sense? And then I will think of a way, in the Common Application they have you write a short paragraph that either could be a shorter version of one of these 2 essays, or it could be about one of your activities that you haven't described. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a Chinese American. She does not live in Arcadia or anywhere in this neighborhood, so none of you know her. She's a real student. She is a freshman at UCLA. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at her 2 essays, and we're going to see why the specifics that she provides helped them get enough information that Berkeley and UCLA accepted her. So what I want you to do is, as we go, and you have the 2 essays right in front of you. You have them in your packet. We're going to look at how these essays complement each other. We're going to try to figure out, what does Elizabeth say about herself that she sells herself? And I want you to take a look at the writing and the details that she uses. So I have it in front of me, so we're going to, as we read it, I would like you to take notes, underline, circle. If you see a piece of information there that provides you information that makes you see why the specifics she provides gave them enough information. Number 1, she's describing the world she comes from. For what seems like my entire life, I have gone to 2 different schools and been a part of 2 communities, Chinese school and a public school. Has she answered the prompt right away in her first sentence? Describe the world you come from. She's done it very specifically, with 2 very different. Most of the time, aspects from these 2 hemispheres stay separate. Yet my experiences have helped me realize that although people come from diverse backgrounds, we are not so different. From a tiny kindergartner to a mature high school senior, I have spent every Saturday morning learning Chinese history and culture, and to read, write, listen, and speak Chinese, all of which has led me to appreciate and respect my heritage even more. Over the years, Chinese school has become a little community where I've made close friends and know the teachers and principal well. Sure, there were days when I despised waking up early and going to school 6 days a week, but during my high school career, I have come to realize that attending a Chinese school has truly been an asset for me. Chinese school has helped me become proficient as a second language. It has also provided opportunities in a more intimate environment than American school, encouraging me to take part in school activities and affairs, such as hosting the annual talent show with my classmates. During my sophomore year, I became editor-in-chief of our Chinese school newspaper, which had been on hiatus for many years until my mother, my Chinese school friends, and I brought it back to life. As a group, we spent a great deal of time outside of school collaborating and putting together every issue. This experience showed me not only how much work and time goes into publishing a newspaper, but also taught me how to work with and lead a group. From passing out assignments to staff members to editing and re-editing my page, a ton of extra work was needed. This year, I established the West Side Breeze as an extracurricular class, and I've become the instructor for the class. This has allowed more students to be involved with the newspaper. With this newspaper, I've helped connect the Chinese school community even more. Despite being mostly immersed in Chinese culture, I have also enjoyed exploring other cultures in American school through history classes and clubs, especially the Armenian Club. Before I joined the Armenian Club, I knew very little about Armenia and its history and culture. However, I was soon rid of my ignorance of Armenian history. What I remember most from our weekly meetings was learning about the realities of the Armenian. Even though I was taking an advanced placement world history class that same year, the textbooks we used barely even mentioned this horrific event. Our fundamental objective of the Armenian Club was to make people aware of and recognize the tragedy, and I determinedly took part in every event supporting this issue. Chinese school and the Armenian Club have exposed me to two vastly different cultures, and I hope to put the knowledge that I have gained from these experiences to good use in the larger community. From my experiences in the Armenian Club and Chinese school, I have come to realize the importance of doubt, of questioning, and of not blatantly accepting everything that is presented to us. I know now that I have to think independently and learn as much as I can before making any conclusions. I have learned that although people come from different cultures, we all value teamwork, determination, and leadership, all of which have been instilled in me. So can anybody tell me, why does this story belong uniquely to Elizabeth? Why is this only her story and no one else's, even though she's talking about coming from a Chinese culture? What does she do in this essay that lets us know her, and specifically her? Can anybody think of what she does? She gives specific examples. What she doesn't do is stay general. What many of you will do in your first drafts is not be specific enough. And what you need to do is to think of those examples that you could provide from recent history that will make them get to see you as a person who's a thinking, in her case, she's a person who cares about her own community and about other communities. She has the ability, she actually says that. She's part of a team, she's a leader, she's determined. I mean, she actually says it because in the prompt it asks you, and how has this affected your dreams and aspirations? And that's the kind of person she is. You don't need to know in Essay 1 what you want to be in the future. You just need to know what kind of person that you want to be. Does that make sense? You don't need to say, and now I know that I want to be a doctor, or now I know that I want to be a psychologist. You don't need to do that. What you need to do in the community is to think of examples that you can use about your life. I had a girl write about what it was like for her to have a Chinese father and a German mother. And the mix of cultures when they had the families come together, and how that made her into a person who understood the different sides of her personality. You can talk about pieces like that. All of you have interesting lives. What they want to know, the UCs have given you permission to talk about your background. Whether you are white, yellow, green, or blue. They want to know a little bit about what makes you who you are. Does that make sense? Let's take a look now. Sometimes I put things down. There they go. That's the first one. Let's take a look at her second essay and see whether the two essays go together. All at once I heard a plastic tube emit a horrendous sucking sound, and a nurse coax a frightening little girl to calm down. Before I knew it, I was holding the tiny bandaged hand of the screaming, trembling toddler. Even I began to feel a bit terrified when the doctor tried once again to put the tube through another tube connected to her throat. Nevertheless, she endured and even helped the doctor by holding the instrument to her throat. With the nurse and me both comforting her, she became less anxious and frightened, as did I. As soon as the doctor and nurse finished, the girl bounced out of bed and bounded down the hallway to the hospital's playroom, where I pushed her IV stand and struggled to keep up with her. While I had expected her to be tired and weak after such a trying ordeal, she was livelier than ever. I could see her strong, positive spirit had allowed her to overcome her frail physical condition. I greatly admired the little girl's strength and bravery, and I wanted to reward her with a good time. I knew I had accomplished just that when I managed to get her to giggle and smile.